Today I will be reviewing the process of adding varieties into EzStamp which are not listed by Scott. This has already been covered previously in a video on our website. I'll show you here. So if you go to EzStamp.com, at the top of every page just click on training videos, and then you can just scroll down and you'll see the one how to add your own varieties. Recommend that you watch this one first before you watch the current video. So we recently had a request from a user on how to specifically enter GB Machin varieties. This customer had purchased a bunch of stamps from a UK dealer who identified them using the Deegham catalog numbers. Here's a scan of that lot that this customer had purchased, as well as the snippet of the catalog description for these particular stamps. We're going to be working with this one here, X89A, which has bands at right and left. Our tutorial today will be similar in that we will be adding varieties of the very popular Machin stamps from Great Britain. Machins are extensively covered in the Stanley Gibbons and Deegham specialized Machin catalogs, to mention just a couple. These catalogs list hundreds of varieties not listed by Scott, and many collectors want to inventory them, so we will go over this process for you. For this video, we will be entering a few varieties of the 1970s Machins, specifically the 10p varieties. These were issued with phosphor bands in several formats: 2 bands, all over tagging, a center band, and then side bands left and right, and there's other combinations that I won't go into right here. These all have catalog numbers in other catalogs, but not in Scott. So I'll show you how to enter these. So here we have Scott number MH71, and there's no mention of any phosphor band varieties. We'll be adding them shortly. So we can see from the catalog snippet provided by our customer, and let me switch back to that. Down here, you can see that there's a band at right and a band at left. So I'll go ahead and add these. To add these, we must first create the Scott number variety by adding an appendix to the catalog number. I usually will use a V1, V2 and such, or an _1, _2 to the end of the Scott number. To do that, you just type in V1 and hit the tab key, and then you'll be presented with this screen here. Since this is a variety of the MH71, we're going to enter it as a sub number. And then you can choose to have all the information that came from the main variety copied over by clicking on the copy filter. And then I normally leave everything enabled, but you can disable specific items that you want. So we click OK and then click Save. And now you'll see that this variety has been added to the database by the indication here of that purple check mark. To complete our entry, we're going to append to the notes area and indicate what the variety is. And in this case, it's a single phosphor band. At right. And then we select the grade that we want to inventory. I'm going to say mint never hinged, very fine. Click the blue check mark, and you'll see that this stamp is now in our inventory as the variety that we wanted. Now let's add the left band variety, and all we have to do is just change the Scott number variety again. I'm going to change it to a 2. Hit the tab key. And it's going to ask me to save it as a variety again. This time I'm going to go to the copy filter, and I'm going to ask it not to select the grade data so that we don't copy the inventoried grade already. So we click OK and save it. And now we've got the new variety ready to go. And we're going to change the band to band at left. And this time I'm going to say that I have an extra fine used copy. And click the blue check mark, and now we have that particular stamp inventoried as well. The last thing I'm going to show you is how to actually enter the other catalog numbers to your inventoried records. And the way you do that is you just left click on this user catalog number field, click here, and then click rename. And we're going to change user catalog number 1 to, I'm going to call it DG number. And I've copied it to all the fields. So that stands for Deegham number. And click OK. And now our alternate catalog number represents Deegham. So if you want to enter a Deegham number in this field, again, you just click here, click Edit, and then you enter the Deegham number. In this case, it's X889B for the left band. And now we go back to the MH, I want to save this. And we go back to the V1. And this time I'll put in the X889A. Click OK and save it. And we've now referenced these other catalogs. Now we can always recall these stamps by just entering the Deegham number. What I want to do is I'm going to clear the screen. And if I go here and type in the Deegham number and hit enter, it will recall our stamp that we had entered. Now that we've entered our cross-reference numbers, we can actually run a report and show those. So if we go to the reports menu and click on cross-reference report, find and show, and we get a report. I'm going to hide some of these columns. I don't want to see the XREF and location, so I click on the H to hide it. And here we have our, I'm going to just shrink it down a bit so we can see more of the columns. And there you can see the two varieties that we added with our cross-reference numbers. And also when you the last thing I'll show you here is that these varieties that you have entered will also show up in the thumbnail viewer list. So if you take a look here, here's the two varieties that we entered, and you can see that they're varieties because they're highlighted in green. In this way, you can easily add any and all varieties to your inventory in this easy way. Enjoy and stay safe.